From the National Alliance on Mental Illness, NAMI, N-A-M-I-O-C, we welcome Arna Vodanos, Clinical Director of the OC Warm Line. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm so grateful to be here today, especially because September is National Suicide Prevention Day, and that is on September 10th. So important to discuss
coming
the
up very soon.
importance, yes, of connection.
Yes. I understand that there is a rise and a big concern in the community is suicide. It's a very sad thing. What are the factors that you are finding that is causing this?
Well, first, what I think it's important is so that everyone understands how much this is an issue, especially in the older adult community. So if you look at, and I'm going to read to you some CDC, Center for Disease Prevention stats. So adults age 55 and older, the highest rates of suicide for men were age 85 and older. That's 55.7 deaths per 100,000 population. And women ages are actually 55 to 64, 7.8. So they saw a largest percentage increase in suicide rates that happened between 2001 and 2021, and that was 55 to 64-year-old men and women 65 to 74. So the biggest issue here, it has to do with this lack of connection. Yes. And I do want to say, if you see on your screen, everyone, the NAMI Orange County Warm Line at 714-991-6412 is a way to get that instantaneous connection 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We offer 2 20-minute calls every 24 hours. So it's connection,
that's really significant.
7 days a week. There's no place that you can have someone as a compassionate listener with resources be there for you.
So these are trained counselors
They're
on the other end of the line?
Well, they're not. They are trained peer support specialists.
Okay.
What that means, a peer support specialist has a lived experience. So they are not trained licensed counselors, although their supervisors are trained and some are licensed as well.
So what do you recommend to the senior community if they don't have family or if their friends are no longer with them and now it's time for them to make that transition and pass away? What are some of the counsel you can give them?
Here's what I got to bring up, grief.
Yes.
Grief is everywhere, and how to work with the grief. And grief is also a factor that can be a risk factor. So in order, if you have a risk factor, you need a protective factor. The NAMI Orange County Warm Line is a protective factor. But also NAMI also offers 2 other no-cost peer support programs, and one is Silver Companions. What's so wonderful about Silver Companions is to get that connection, you give a call, and you'll see the number on the screen, 657-643-7416. That's 657-643-7416. You will be matched with another older adult who is a trained mentor. And you will have in-person contact with that person. Another program that NAMI offers for peers is if you have Cal Optima insurance, that is 657-212-9771. You'll see that number on the screen, 657-212-9771. Again, peer-to-peer connections.
Well, thank you for that information.
Yes.
What happens in somebody's mind and body when they do have those peer-to-peer connections, when they do feel connected to somebody?
Well, I'm going to say I'm so glad you asked that question, because that is the crux of many studies. So first, I'm going to tell you there are immediate changes in the brain, and a chemical in our body is released that gives us a sense of well-being. There's also, and this is very exciting research, new research, there are very many studies that show how connection is tied to longevity.
Yes.
Okay, so that means when you get approval from others, like someone makes you laugh, or you get a social reward like a smile from a friend, a chemical called dopamine, and that produces feelings of happiness and joy. Now, here's the exciting research. 2 decades of research, they indicate a causal association between social relationships and mortality. Now, here's how they judged it. They actually could look at factors like blood pressure, C-reactive protein, that's for inflammation, waist circumference, and guess what they found?
What's that?
A higher degree of social integration was associated with lower risk of the physiological dysregulation. And what that shows is social connections helped improve your health, your inflammation, bringing it down, and it exceeded older age natural processes. So
wow.
That's why it's so
Sounds
important.
very powerful.
It's very powerful. Again, the NAMI Orange County Warm Line gives that 24/7.
Okay.
And these other peer support services that NAMI offers.
And just to wrap up our interview so people know, what should somebody do if they are feeling suicidal?
Thank you. That is very important. You call 988. If you are feeling suicidal, speak to a trained crisis counselor. After you speak to them, we're one call away here at the NAMI Orange County Warm Line. We are here to give the ongoing support once you've been de-escalated. Now, I want to say something else. If you're just having thoughts, but no plan and time schedule, you can call us.
Okay.
We can talk to you as well. But if we feel you need to have that trained crisis counselor, we may do or offer a warm transfer. But we are here for ongoing support.
Okay, Arna, thank you. From the National Alliance on Mental Illness, NAMI, Arna Vodinos.
Correct. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us with that valuable information.
And I love coming and speaking to this beautiful community of Laguna Woods. Thank you so much.
You're watching This Day.